Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, Asexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, if you're enjoying the content, found it useful, helpful, insightful, or entertaining, or if you just give it some love to help this channel. I really, really appreciate that. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, for this beautiful book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also the founder of Asexualise.com and founder of Asexualise Academy. Welcome to tonight's... Whoops! I'm knocking paperwork on the floor. Tonight's episode is later than usual because I had some technical difficulties and I had to kind of quit Google. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. I kind of had to quit Google and then restart it. And, I had problems with my application on my Mac. So to cut a long story short, I had technical difficulties, but I am here now. So in tonight's live stream, I want to talk to you about what makes a good guy. So I talked yesterday about how to spot. Hi, Ray. I talked last night about how to spot an emotionally unavailable guy. I always keep saying those the opposite way around. So I taught you how to spot emotionally unavailable guy. Tonight I want to tell you the signs of a good guy to be in a relationship with. Are there any good guys out there still, you might ask? Yes, there are still some out there because I do know some. So there are still some good guys. I think in terms of relationship, to be honest, I think they're few and far between for you to be able to get the right one specifically for you. I think it's quite difficult. I'm not going to lie. But you only have to find one person if you're looking for monogamy, right? One person, and there's billions of people out there. So there's lots and lots of opportunities. And we must live with an abundance mindset, not a scarcity mindset, okay? So nothing is impossible. Remember that. So what are the signs of a good guy? First of all, I want to tell you about what happened to me when I was food shopping yesterday. So being single like I am and in the dating scene and trying new things out as I do, as you know what I'm like on this channel. I told you that it's good to converse with lots of different types of guys and try things out. And one of the places I talk to guys is in the supermarket. I happen to live opposite a supermarket, well, diagonally opposite the supermarket that has lots of foreign guys working in it. So even though I've not got a relationship, I can still look at foreign guys pretty much whenever I want to. All I have to go into my local supermarket and they're all at the checkout. So that's quite nice. And anyway, so yeah, sometimes I approach guys in a supermarket because, you never know when the right guy might turn up, right? So anyway, I was at the checkout yesterday getting some food and there was this guy behind me who was foreign and he was on his own. So I don't know if he was single or not. So I turned around to him and said, oh, that's healthy, because he had quite a lot of fruit with him and pasta and stuff. And he kind of laughed and I was saying, you can put your basket down there. He didn't really understand what I was saying. But I said to him, oh, you've got a nice accent. And he said, oh, yeah, it's Hispanic. I said, oh, right, that's nice. And then I said, oh, do you work over here then? Or are you just over here for a short time? Something like that. I said to him, do you work basically over here? And he's like, oh, yeah, I do work over here. And he goes, so does my wife. And so that's what I wanted to tell you was, a really good quality guy. When a guy brings up very, very early in the conversation that he already is taken, whether that be a wife or a girlfriend or a partner. What I absolutely don't want you to do is get a person for you who doesn't actually say they're in a relationship with someone. Like I've talked to a number of guys and it's only through a little bit of conversation on and on and on do I find out they've got a girlfriend or wife. It's like, why didn't you just tell me that in the beginning, And to be honest, this guy must have been really switched on, because he obviously knew that I was single and that I was asking. He made a point of saying, so does my wife work? as well. You know, he didn't have to tell me that. What relevance is it to me when I'm talking about him? Because he probably knew that I was single and was that inquiring if he was single or not. So I just carried on talking and said, oh, I've got a friend from Portugal, which is true, who works in Nando's. And he loves living in the UK. He would never move home, even though he goes and visits it, which is visits where he's from, which is true. I didn't lie about that. But then I kind of thought, you know, like when you were kind of been like, you've been caught out. Like, yeah, it's pretty obvious that he caught me out, interested in him. And then he put forward the fact he got a wife. So after that, I turned around and then didn't talk to him again after that, you know, which is fine. But this is a good guy. A good guy will be proud to be in a relationship with their wife, their partner, their girlfriend, or their boyfriend, and they will, you know, bring into conversation very early that they have got a partner. It's a very, very good sign. So what does this mean for you? Like, obviously that guy's unavailable to you, but it means that it's a sign that there's these good guys in the world. They're not all pretending to be single and flirting with women or guys whenever they can, you know? It means there are people out there that are trustworthy, that are loyal to their partner, right? So this is what, you know, a sign of a good guy. And it's important that even though these guys might not be single, it's important to note there are guys out there that are dedicated to their woman, or, you know, if they've got a boyfriend, they're dedicated to their boyfriend, you know, they're dedicated to their partner, you know. And the reason it's important you know this is because then you can see there are some loyal, honest guys still in the world. Because, you know, I watch a lot of dating videos, a lot of dating coaches, and a lot of women say the same thing. Where are all the good guys? Where are the emotionally available guys? Where are all the guys pursuing? Where are they all? And I, you know, as I'm in the dating scene myself, I do know how difficult that really is. You know, I think women a lot these days are very strong-minded, they're very powerful, they're very independent. And I think more and more guys seem to be less like taking control of situations and more like airy fairy, to be quite honest with you, and like so laid back that they're not actually doing much anymore. Do you know what I mean? Which isn't a good thing, I don't think, you know. But there are still some good guys in their world. And there are still some good guys that do the right things, which I'll come on to talk to you more about in a minute. So obviously, you know, I was really impressed. This guy had a wife. He got it quickly in there. And I really appreciate that. I don't like it when like I'm chatting to a guy and then he doesn't make sure I know he's got a partner, because there's no reason. If you're on your own and you're being chatted to and a person's taking interest in you, a stranger, there's no reason why you shouldn't say immediately pretty much that I've got a partner. There's no reason not to. You know, you should be thinking about what's actually going on and happening and be aware and vigilant, that's the right word, of these things, you know. So another example of a guy in a relationship that's really good. I was out dancing with my friend, best female friend, a while ago, quite a few months ago now. And there was this guy in the room, and I didn't know he got a partner at the time because he was on his own when he was dancing right kind of behind me. And so I thought, oh, you might be single. So I turned around and looked at him and smiled. He immediately went to his woman, because I didn't know he got a woman, but he immediately went off a little bit forward. She was out, or she was almost, it was very crowded in there, right? So they weren't actually together. They weren't next to each other, right? So he went off to get her. Well, she was near the door entrance, the side entrance, that is. He went to get her. He grabbed hold of her, pulled her back close to him. So he was telling me, I've got a woman, I'm not interested in you. And that is another really good guy, that when there's other women around, they're not like behind their partner's back flirting with the other woman while she's outside. They're actually going to get their woman and saying, look, I'm with someone, you know. And if they touch their woman, like, even, I'm not talking about sexual touch, I'm talking about on the shoulder, on the arm, you know, being affectionate with them in front of other women. It's like, I'm with this woman's mine, you know, not as in a nasty controlling way. When other women, obviously, if he's doing it, he might do it when other guys are around as well, which is like protective. You know, you could argue that it might get controlling depending on the temperament of the person. But a lot of the time, a guy wants to protect his woman against other men because they are, in fact, you know, like could potentially end up in a relationship with her. So he like protects her like that. Obviously some guys are controlling, which you don't want, but protection is okay, right? There's a fine line sometimes. But when women could easily flirt with him, and when I didn't know he was with someone, he could have easily just left his woman where she was. She didn't know what he was doing, because he wasn't close enough to her. There was people in between them, but he didn't. Do you know what I mean? So this is a sign of another really good guy, that he's proud to be with his woman. It's like, I'm with someone, don't come near me, I'm already taking, and he didn't have to do that, and he did. This is another good guy, because these guys are always going to be faithful in their relationships, and that bodes well, because I see some other guys that just flirt with other women behind their partner's back. And the worst thing is, like, I know one guy, and he's been with this woman for a long time. She's beautiful, kind heart of gold. Yet when other women come and flirt with him, he doesn't tell them where to stick it. He doesn't move away. He kind of laps it up and then pretends that, I couldn't get away from her. She was on my case. She was touching my bum. There's nothing I could do about it. Like, and then start shouting and swearing at his woman that she's not happy with it. This is not a good guy, right? This is the opposite. You don't want a guy like that. You want a guy who's very boundary driven with other women. Not just with you in a relationship, but with other women, particularly very boundary driven when you're with them and when you're apart from them. Very boundary driven. So they're like, the guy's not into other women touching him, not into, like, obviously if they got a female friend, they might hug them hello and goodbye. But obviously, if you see them like kissing and stuff like that, that they're no good, right? They're not your person, right? And I'm talking about monogamous relationship, not polyamorous here, right? So, again, that's another sign of a good guy. He went and got his woman. He brought her close to him. He was, on the case with her. Oh, hi, Sam. Nice to see you. Lovely to see you. And so when he brought her close to him like that, then he's a good guy. The third scenario happened recently of a good guy as well. Is my best friend. She's moved away. I've told you that before. And she's moved in with her guy. Right, they haven't actually been together that long, but they've moved in together, right? And that's it. They made the decision and off they went, right? And so anyway, she's got this. My best female friend has got this sexual cougar friend, best friend, not just me, right? I'm an asexual cougar, so I like younger guys to kiss and cuddle, not have sex with, right? Her other best friend is in her 60s, which clearly is very, very, very much older than me, and she likes younger guys in their 20s to have sex with. She's known for that. It's what she likes. She's been married before years ago, divorced, got kids, and now she just lives for her and will have sex with whoever she wants when she wants, and she's loud and provocative and all that. And so, in terms of clothes as well. So, and as well as what she says. So anyway, but there's a lot of good qualities about her as well, because I've been with her as well as my best female friend, right? We've hung out all together. And so anyway, what my best female friend was saying, that her new guy, when he met her other best friend, that I told you she's very provocative, into guys, like younger guys, but she's also into men in general as well, right? My best female friend said that when her guy was walking away from her, he said something to my best female friend about, I look forward to seeing you later then, and something like that. I don't know the exact words. And her provocative, like, sexual cougar friend said, oh yeah, I can't wait, or something like that. And then he said to her, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to my missus. So some guys, they'll call, even if you're not married, they'll call you as a woman their missus. It's a sign of respect, actually, that they're in a relationship with you. I know some women might not like being called that, but it's a sign of respect. It's like they're treating you like you're their wife without actually being married to you or engaged to you even necessarily. My ex used to say that to me sometimes. We weren't married or even engaged, right? But that's what, and what was so good and powerful about that is he actually said that to her provocative best friend. Now, usually guys who are around her provocative best friend sexual cougar, usually guys who like lap it up. You know, if she starts touching their hair or playing with them or whatever she does, or starts coming onto them or saying stuff to them, even if they're with my best female friend, the guys will kind of lap it up and enjoy the moment, be flirty back or just not say anything. They're not being strong guys, right? They're just, like, oh, right, okay, I'll enjoy it, the attention, the touching or whatever, right? But her man now, I'm not saying he's good in everywhere. I don't know the guy, right? But I'm saying this is a sign of a good guy. It's particularly in terms of commitment that, when he said, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to my missus, he made it plain and clear that he's never ever going to allow her to say stuff like that to him. That's a boundary she shouldn't be crossing, because he's in a relationship with her best friend, which is my best friend, he's not in a relationship with her. And so this is another good guy. A good guy should be able to stick up to another woman, I've had a number of guys say to me, oh, but, I don't want to be horrible to women. I don't want to say anything that might upset them. This is not the type of guy you want to be in a relationship with, right? You want to be in a relationship with a guy where you can trust him with other women. Hi, Heather, nice to see you. Lots of love. So in terms of relationship, you want to be with a guy who's strong, who's powerful, who can say to a woman, no, I know women, right? I know a lot of women that aren't very good either. They can wrap guys around their little finger quite easily with batting that, oh, hi, Naylor, nice to see you. I know some guys, that can wrap that can wrap guys around their little finger just by emotionally pulling on their heartstrings, as it were, So a good guy to be in a relationship with is someone who understands women, who is kind overall, polite to women, but doesn't let women take the piss out of him. As in, he's strong with women, right? If a woman came onto him, he'd be like, what the hell do you think you're doing? Back off. And he'd be able to talk to her like that. He wouldn't worry about her feelings or upsetting her or, oh my God, it's a woman, I can't say that. He'd be strong and firm with her. Or obviously, if you're a guy that's into guys, he would be like that with another guy, right? So if you're homo-romantic or bi-romantic, pan-romantic, you're attracted to guys, a good guy to be in a relationship with is a guy who can tell another guy, no, I'm in a relationship, I have a boyfriend, I have a partner, right? That is a good guy to be in a relationship with. This is the type of guy that you need to be looking for if you're single, or need to check out that your guy is actually like this, right? I've known a number of guys who aren't, they can't be trusted around other women. They're either loving being flirty, really. They are doing stuff behind your back, or they're not being firm with women because they're too worried about what women think and too worried about hurting their feelings, which is just a load of bullshit, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between being nasty to a woman and being firm and telling her, look, I'm not interested, I've got a partner. They're two different things. You don't have to be nasty to be firm. Obviously, if a woman starts coming on and try and kiss you, then you would have to physically do something to take her away from you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying hurt her. I'm saying, you'd have to defend yourself against that, right? Which would be a very tricky situation. But you want a guy that's not going to get into that type of situation in the first place. Or, this could be a guy, obviously, who's not with a woman. He's with a guy, into guys as well. You want a guy where you don't see him, like, in an intimate situation with someone. Do you know what I mean? It's not on. And so other qualities you need to look for in a guy is an MIH guy. What's an MIH guy? An MIH guy is a make it happen guy, right? This is a type of guy that is a good guy to be in a relationship with, right? A make it happen guy is a guy that will put lots of time, energy, and effort into making the relationship work, in making the communication work, and keeping and maintaining the communication going. He is the type of guy that even if he lives all the way across the other side of the world, he will say, I will, by such and such a date, I will come, I will book the tickets now to go on a plane to see you. He will send you pictures and say, look, here's the proof. I've got my plane tickets. I pay for them out my own money. I'm going to come and see you on this day. Obviously, that they should be in a negotiation of when's best for you as well, not just turn up. But, you know, they say they're going to do something. They say they're going to see you and they make it happen, right? They invite you out for a date and they follow through with it. So you don't have to like be thinking, where's the actual follow up? You know, I had a heterosexual guy, I call him Bike Guy, who lives near me. He's on a bicycle, right? Heterosexual guy, and he asked me out on a date. I think it was back in July, and I said no because I don't like sex. I'm asexual. And he said, I didn't invite you for sex. I invited you for coffee. And I'm like, yeah, but I know where it will lead. And then a couple of times I saw him later, he asked me again. And I said, okay, I'll do that as a friend, right? And then he never followed through. He did keep seeing me accidentally on purpose, bumping into me, asking me questions about myself. But, you know, if he had anything about him, if he was very, very, really, really interested in get to know me as a person, he would have followed up through on the date. Despite the fact I was asexual, he would be asking me the questions he's asking me in the street, right? When I see him on his bicycle, the questions he's asking me in the street, like, are you into women? Are you a lesbian? Because he doesn't understand asexuality, which all he has to do is Google it. Do you know what I mean? It's not difficult. And then, are you celibate? No. And all these type of conversations we're having in the street, if he's a really, really good guy to be in a relationship with, he'll be saying, let's go on that date. You know, I realise that you said just as friends. I want to get to know you. You know my feelings about you, but I would like to go on it. Let's make it happen and let's set it. When are you free? What's your phone number if you don't mind me having it? Or even if you don't want me to have your number, when are you free? When would you like to arrange it? And arrange it. This is a make it happen guy. He makes arrangements happen. He makes things happen. He pushes the relationship forward. He pushes the relationship on. He literally, you know, is like a conveyor belt going on and on and on, right? He's moving the relationship along. He's moving the communication along. You know, he's communicating with you daily as well as a good guy, a guy who communicates with you daily, who opens his heart to you, who shares his feelings with you. And he doesn't have secrets and things to hide, you know? He's not shady with what he does. He's not creepy with what he does. He's not hiding things or weird things are going on that you intuitively know. Hang on a minute, something's a bit wrong here. Something's not quite right. I don't quite know the whole full story. Something's not quite gelling with me. You know, like your intuition is really, really important. So I urge you to listen to that. You know, if you with a guy or interested in a guy and something tells you he's not a good guy to be in a relationship with, he's not a good guy to be in a relationship with, right? Because your intuition is one of the most powerfulest things ever. And it can feel and tell stuff that even is not visible to the naked eye, you know? You can just feel it, right? I mean, I've had guys that say they're interested in me, but they're not messaging me daily. They're not asking me questions about myself. They're not pursuing me. They're not following through. They're just saying, I'd like to see you. Be nice to see you. It's like, and when do you want to do that? No answer. You know, I shouldn't even have to ask when. They should be saying that to me when. Do you know what I mean? You know, make it happen. Make it happen. You know, what's happening in the chat? I wish I could be eating with my boyfriend and his family, but I can't because of my mum. All right. What are the signs of a good relationship? I know why my life is boring and I wish I could change my life, but I can't until I'm 18. Mum is in the way of me having a life. Sometimes it's good if you can get your own place. Can't yet. I'm not 18. I don't know who I'd move in with anyway. I can't live on my own. Must be hard for you. My friends can help out. Can't help out because their parents. Oh, yeah, you have the force, my dear sister. Oh, bless you. Ray, I am laugh out loud, Sandra. Yes, you are a good quality guy, Ray, actually. Very good quality. Like, to be honest, Ray in the chat has a lot of qualities I would look for in a good guy. He's quite a good example from what I haven't known Ray that long, I have to say, but I do trust him a lot. And he has a lot of good qualities of a guy, right? So, but Ray is much older than me in birth certificate age, and I don't get aesthetically attracted to older guys. If I did, it'd be great, but I just don't. I can't kiss an older guy usually. I'm not saying they're not exceptions, but I have kissed a 43-year-old who's older than me, but that's the oldest I've actually kissed, a 43. It's very old, but he looked about 35, even though it's a bit older for me, 35. But Oh yeah, your boyfriend has great qualities as well, Naylor. It's good, very good. So as I was saying, because obviously I need to carry on with this video. Yeah. So basically, yeah. So a guy should be like maintaining, should want to contact you daily, should want you in his life, should be telling you about his life and world. You shouldn't have to be asking like what's going on with you. I mean, of course, in general conversation, you might be like, oh, how's your day going? But you know, when you ask how your day's going, it should be like forthcoming, like, oh yeah, this is what's happening in my day, blah blah blah. Not like, how's your day? It's going fine, thanks. You know, those conversations, those really difficult conversations where they just say like few words back and it's like, and do you know what I mean? Like, what's happening? Usually a conversation should be flowing. I'm not saying it's going to be like that every single minute of the day of the year, but usually there's some sort of flowing conversation backwards and forwards. Like you're sharing bits of your life with them, they're sharing bits of their life with you. You know, you're kind of having this ongoing dialogue between you. It's like you're there with each other when even you're not. Like I had a friend, well, I still got them, but they're married now, got a kid, and I'm really happy. They're very happy. I'm so happy for them. They deserve so much love and happiness. And this person is a trans guy, right? I knew them as female, first of all, then I knew them as agender, then I knew them as, I know them now, trans guy, right? And so they used to, for nearly 2 years, they had a lot of problems, a lot of serious, dangerous problems that they were in another country, even, you know, and I helped them out by message, but they were like messaging me every day. It did get a little bit much, if I'm honest, because some of the stuff they were telling me was like stuff that you wouldn't want to deal with normally. It's not like what a counselor would deal with. It. I'm not a counselor, do you know what I mean? But they didn't have anyone else to turn to because their family wasn't good, and I'm glad I was there for them because everything's turned out really well in the end now, you know, really really good. And if they hadn't got out of that situation they were in, they wouldn't be in the you know, much happier place with their, like, you know, with their husband now and with a kid. So you know, everything's turned out really well. It doesn't always work like that. Sometimes when you advise people it doesn't always work, but luckily they did say to me thank you, you know, several months ago for all the help I gave them back then, you know, so I'm really really pleased. But what I was going to say is this particular person, they were having like they were having like an ongoing, all right Naylor, they were having an ongoing dialogue with me for nearly 2 years, every single day, and it was a bit, like I said, it was hard because I can't go into all the ins and outs of it because it's very confidential stuff, but it was like stuff that you wouldn't, you know, like you'd have to usually be trained to listen to that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And so it was very difficult for me emotionally and to hear some of the stuff that they were coming out with, because this person that they were with at the time, one of these people, had changed them, had changed their mind to the dark side, as it were. They only because of the circumstances they put them in, but I knew that they weren't that type of person overall, that there was a good person in there and I cared about them so much. And you know, they're really calm now. They've had therapy and everything. They've got a wonderful husband and child, and you know, not everything's gone right for them, which hasn't been their fault. It's been, you know, sadly people who in the family hasn't understood that person, but they are, you know, in a much safer place now, happier. And that person had like an ongoing dialogue pretty much every single day for 2 years, pretty much non-stop. And it was literally like I was sat in a lounge with them, even though they're right over the other side of the world. And they had this ongoing dialogue, like we didn't even stop talking. Like that was very intense for me because it wasn't a relationship, it was a friendship, and that with someone I didn't know, it was very 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 intense for me, that, you know. But I'm glad that I did stick it out with them, because I mean in the end I had to say that I can't do this for my own health, and that was difficult for me because they've been relying on me for so long. So I had to kind of like back off a bit and stop talking to them as much. But you know, it was needed for 2 whole years, but I luckily I did enough with them and for them, and they did enough at the time to listen to what I said, and they got out of the situation, and they're just in such a good place now, and I'm glad that I could be there for them. But when I'm talking about a good guy, you know, that wasn't a relationship, but obviously, you know, the dialogue was like we were having this ongoing friendship, like we were just talking in a lounge all the time. It's literally like the person wouldn't even say hi, how are you? It would just be continuously like what's happening in their day, where they're going, who they're speaking to, what's happening, this, that, and the other. So it was literally like ongoing dialogue daily, like I was sitting in the same room with them. It was one of the most bizarre experiences I've ever had, I think, especially with a long distance person I don't even know in person. I've never even video chatted with them, you know. So that was, you know, it was all via messaging. So that was very intense. But what I'm trying to say is a person who's a good guy will want to keep in daily contact with you. Like if someone who's just my friend like that, they did need me a lot of the time, you know, a guy will want to keep in contact with you daily because they want you in their life, because they care about you, because they care what happens to you. They want to, you know, help you out. You know, there might be very times when, you know, there might be something that happens where they go to a foreign country and they've literally got no internet access for some reason. Most countries have some internet access, and most countries do have like cyber cafes these days. Do you know what I mean? So don't let them use that as an excuse. But a good guy will want to keep in touch with you as much as possible, usually daily, because, you know, they like to maintain that connection with you. And obviously a good guy will be emotionally available for you. They will be there to be, they will have like their kind of manly, masculine type of side, and they will have their more feminine qualities where they will have empathy and sympathy, and they will care about you on a deep heart level and emotional level, you know, and they will be able to be emotionally connected to you. And they will be a guy who wants to develop, grow themselves and work on their own issues and realize they've got past issues and wants to work on it. You know, that's a good guy. A guy that isn't a good guy is one that doesn't even realize he's got any problems. He thinks everyone else, excuse me, got something in my eye. He thinks everyone else is the problem, not him. He doesn't think he's got anything to work on. He doesn't even think very much for himself. You know, it's kind of like he's just going along, milling along in life, like letting life happen to him rather than making life happen for him. He's not a make it happen guy. He's a more like passive guy where things just happen to him in his life and he just soaks up whatever's happening at the time and tries to deal with it as best he can in the time, because he hasn't really thought about other things, you know? And so he's not really very worldly. He's not very not into self-growth. A good guy will be realizing that you have to grow yourself as an individual person and you have to grow the relationship as well. So growing two different things. It's like a plant, right? A beautiful flower or rose, you know, you have to water it to maintain it, sustain it and keep its beauty, right? If you're not maintaining it and sustaining it and keep its beauty, it will rot and it will die. Right? I'm not saying it can't be reborn again, but it will die in its current circumstances the way it is, you know. And if you want to preserve the rose exactly like it is, but encourage it to grow bigger and taller, but maintain its beauty, then you need to, you know, give it some water and oxygen, you know. So you want a guy who's not controlling you, not making you not breathe and stifling you, but you want a guy who's there for you and having you in his life. You know, sometimes that can be hard to get a balance, but it's very important. You haven't got a guy who's telling you can't see this friend, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, what do you think you're doing now? And it's important that the guy trusts you, right? A good guy will trust you if you're a trustworthy person. Obviously, if you know where you're watching this, if you're trustworthy or lie or not, you know, I can't speak for you. But, you know, if you know you're a trustworthy person, it's quite obvious you're a trustworthy person. That person will trust you. If they don't, it's probably likely that they're not very trustworthy themselves and they're projecting that onto you. So you've got to be very, very careful. Very, very careful that they don't project themselves onto you. And a guy who has the ability to say sorry. This is so important. If you ever come across a guy, you know, and one of the questions you can ask him when you're dating is like, when was the last time you said sorry for something and what was it? And if they can't answer that question because they've never said sorry in their life, that's not a good sign. It's usually one of the signs of a narcissist if they can't say sorry, because it means they never think they're wrong. They've never got anything to be sorry for, so they don't say it. It's not in their vocabulary. They don't use it. Do you know what I mean? And you don't want to be with a guy like that, right? I know many people don't ask that question. They don't ask like, so when was the last time you said sorry and what was it about? It's a question that people wouldn't even think of. But it's quite a good, interesting question to use on a date, is it not? When you're finding out about the person, they might be like, what the hell is that random question? But if you've got a guy who doesn't like being asked random questions, that's not a good sign. If a guy is honest, he won't mind you asking him any question. Why would he? You might think you're a bit weird, but it doesn't matter. You know, he wouldn't mind you asking him any question, and usually you wouldn't think you're weird anyway. You just think you're curious about him. You know, a good guy will usually like to be asked questions about himself, and will usually ask you questions about yourself. If the guy's just talking non-stop about himself, doesn't ask you anything about yourself, and just continually talks about himself or his life, then he's not a good guy for you, right? You want a guy who's talking to you, communicating with you regularly, asking you questions like, how's your day going? Like, what's maybe you're having, oh, I'm going to eat some food now, or what's your favorite food, if they're going to take you out on a date. It depends. Obviously, I'm talking a good guy to be in a relationship with rather than a good guy to be friends with. But obviously some of these traits you would look for, obviously, a lot of these traits you would look for in friendship. I'm really talking about a relationship. Do you know what I mean? Because, a relationship, like, compared to a friendship, like, a guy is my friend, I wouldn't expect them to be messaging me every single day. Like, some of my best closest friends, like me and Sam, we message each other regularly, and that feels good. Actually, feels good when I hear from them regularly. I feel like lately we've been messaging more. That's been really, really nice. I felt like I understand them more. They understand. I just really liked it. Even though we're just friends, best friends, I might add, not just friends, best friends. It's just been really nice to maintain that connection, because we do live quite a long way away from each other. It's just been nice to find out what they get up to more in the week and their daily life and stuff, because it interests me. I care about them as my friend, and I just feel like, like, more bonded to them as a friend, like, if I know a bit more. Do you know what I mean? It's been nice to have more regular contact. Yeah, I've really enjoyed that, Sam. I'm glad you feel the same way. I feel like it's been really nice. It's kind of like you've always got a friend there for you. Do you know what I mean? I know Ray's messaged me loads. Ray's always messaging me as well. But Ray likes me a little bit more than a friend, shall we say. Molly is upset. Tundra has a younger girl in the house. Ha ha. Oh yeah, you've got another dog, haven't you? You got another dog. It's good. It's good. It's good. But yeah, so and a guy who's a good guy will listen to your needs as well, and they will try and work with you with them. Do you know what I mean? They won't be dismissive and say, well, I don't like that, it's not happening. They'll be like, okay, like, how does that affect you? And like, how are you feeling over that? And like, they will try and they will care about if something hurts you or upsets you or makes you feel bad. They will want to know what's going on in your life. Okay, Naila. Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Oh, that's all right, Naila. I noticed in some of the comments you said that it's been quite difficult for you, but if my mum wasn't my mum, I'd cut off contact because of how she's acting about my boyfriend and my relationship. She's my mum, so I can't. Yeah. Oh, bless you. That's hard. Yeah, I know. I'm sending you love. I think your mum, what it is because you've been with her so long on your own, and because of what's happened with your dad, I think she's very, she's overprotective of you, and it's gonna, unfortunately, it probably will backfire on her if she's not careful, because like you said, you'll want to escape that life. Do you know what I mean? You'll have to escape it in the future, and that's not going to be so good. Do you know what I mean? For her, but she really, your boyfriend's not doing anything wrong, and neither are you, so she kind of needs to accept it. But I know that some mothers get very possessive, don't they, or jealous. But like, your boyfriend's obviously a good guy in the sense that he's not scared of being around your mum, seeing your mum, that type of thing. 'Cause as we're talking about good guys, a good guy wouldn't be afraid of meeting the potential in-laws or seeing them or speaking to them and saying, I'm with this person in a relationship. It's very important you have a good guy like that. So yeah, I mean, if you need to go, I do understand. I wish you lots of love and hope you feel better soon. But yeah, I mean, you just have to. I mean, I think it'd be a good idea if your boyfriend's family did meet your mum, but it depends how she's behaving, doesn't it? Because I said it's good to arrange that if you can. We were invited to dinner, regular one. She decided not to because of her nerves. Yeah, I'm not allowed to because she won't be there, so apparently I can't. Oh, so has she got anxiety? I'm presuming she has. Yeah, that's not good. My mum isn't up for meeting them. Right. Yeah. I mean, you can't force her to at the end of the day. But it's sad that she won't let you go just because, like, why should she stop you going? But like you say, you're under 18, so it's a bit hard to do anything. So her lupus worsens anxiety. Oh yeah, I have fibromyalgia, as you know, and my fibro gets worse if I've got anxiety. But I have got anxiety anyway before I was even diagnosed with fibro. But with anxiety, you do kind of have to push through it as well. You do have to do some things that are going to make you anxious in order to be less anxious. So, but I do know, like with fibro, I need a guy, for example, we're talking about good guys, right, in a relationship. Like if a person's got an anxious personality, then you need a guy who'll work with you with that, and like not to the point where you're stifling or controlling him, but to the point where he realizes you've got an anxious personality and he's willing to work with you. So like he might say, hey honey, I'm going out with my friends now tonight. I'll be out for like 5 hours or whatever. Don't expect a message from me during that time. I'll message you when I'm home. And he follows through with that. Do you know what I mean? Or hey honey, I'm out for the day with my friend. Message me and I'm out with you for my friend. Don't know what time I'll be back, so I might not get, if he's not gonna get a chance to message, it might not be till tomorrow morning you hear from me. But he's always consistent, persistent, and following through. So if you have got anxiety, it's not a sense of you can't get anyone ever for a relationship, but you need to actually, be having a guy that's sympathetic and empathetic. You don't want to be with a guy who's like, oh, well, I can't deal with you if you're being in that state. Do you know what I mean? That's not a good guy for you to be with. So if you have any type of conditions, because I know there's a lot of asexuals, I've got friends with anxiety as well, you need someone who's very, very understanding with that and will work with you and talk and discuss things to help make it better, which might mean keeping a bit more regular contact, which might mean having certain points throughout the day when you connect with each other, which might mean them telling you advance when they're seeing their friends. So you can plan your week to do something. So you're not thinking about them and fretting about them. Do you know what I mean? My mum blames me for making her worse, but she's the one that's letting this get in the way of her life. She could be happy for me and stuff and get involved, but instead she let it get to her and affect her. I broke her heart because I'm dating someone that's not the same religion. Oh, for goodness sake, sorry. Oh dear. I don't have much. I don't have much sympathy for people who say stuff like that. I think that's just an excuse. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if someone's a different religion. Like my best friend Sam is an atheist. Doesn't bother me. I still care about them as my friend. Do you know what I mean? It's irrelevant to me. She'd have had no problems if I was someone in the same religion. I think she would though. I don't think that's true. I honestly don't think that's true. So I think she'd find something else because I think she's the type of person that's overprotective of you no matter what. Do you know what I mean? If it wasn't religion, it'd be something else. Do you know what I mean? It'd be like his family or it'd be like his background or upbringing or, like something or other. I'm sure. I think it's just an excuse, to be quite honest. She legit said she'd wished it was someone in the same religion. Yeah, I don't doubt that she said that. But I think that if you were with someone of the same religion, she'd still find something else to not be happy about because she's, from what you've told me. But I don't know her. I don't know. Okay, well, you know her better than me. She's not my mum, is she? You know her better than anyone. You've got to think. You've got to think for yourself. But I know the guy I was in a relationship with this year briefly, very briefly, the British guy, he said my mum wouldn't be happy whatever girl I'm with because every single girl I'm in a relationship with, my mum's never happy. I can't do this, I can't do that, etc. All because of religion. Oh, okay. So she's really, really religious. But, you know, it's up to you to decide your religion. Her answer for why I can't do anything I want to do is religion. Oh, well, that's just an excuse, isn't it? I mean, religion, you know, doesn't restrict people from doing everything and anything. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's hard for you. I feel really, you know, I feel for you in that situation, because it's just like, it's just religion is coating over everything else. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you know, I think if that were, you know, religion's not designed to hold people hostage. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you know what I mean? It's just like, and people can be with people from different religions. Like, I want to be with someone who's foreign, who's completely different ethnicity to me. I don't have to be, but my preference is just because I prefer foreign guys. But I mean, you know, I don't have to be. I don't, you know, if I end up with a British guy, which I don't think I will, but if I did, or well, if it was an Indian but British born guy, that would be ideal for me. But I can't wait till I'm 18. I'll be free to hang out with him and his family. Yeah, I want that for you as well. I mean, she needs to understand though that it's better for her if she can actually like pluck up the courage to go and meet him, you know, because I don't know if there's any way you could try and convince her and say, look, I understand he's a different religion. It might not be your ideal wish, but this is who I love. And I want you to be part of my life with him. And that's why I really want you there to meet his family. It's very important to me, Mum, because I love you so much, you know, and he is going to be part of my future. And I want you to be a part of my future as well, you know? I don't know if you can say anything like that to her. Do you know what I mean? To reassure her that, you know, you're not you know, she's not losing you. She's actually helping the situation if she goes with you. I wish you were my mum. Oh, oh, bless you. That's really, really sweet. Thank you. I don't know what to say to that. That's really, really sweet. Oh, thank you. I don't get many people saying that. Thank you. It's really, really nice. I very much appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I think people should be free to be who they are and do what they want to do, as long as they're not hurting anyone. Do you know what I mean? And it's consensual, because I have to say consensual in case we're talking about sex stuff as well, which can come into it. But you know, like I think anyone and everyone should be free to do what they want, as long as they're not hurting anyone, and you know, intentionally hurting anyone, and you know, I think, you know, different religions can be together, different cultures can be together, different ethnicities can be together. It's down to the individual people, you know. I always believe this. And if you are, you know, I made a song on the album called Love Who You Wanna Love. That's really beautiful, Naylor. It's true. It's true, you know. I don't think age, religion, or ethnicity or anything like that has, you know, bearing directly on anything. I think it's up to the two individuals to make it work and find out if it can work. Obviously, you might have two people from two different cultures who just so strictly for their own culture, they're completely opposite cultures, opposite ends of the belief system, and they can't work together, you know. Love is love is love is love. I believe that, you know. Like if I see two gay guys kissing, I'm really happy for them. I think it's wonderful. If I see two females kissing, I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not into that, but I think it's great. You know, when I was out clubbing last time, two lesbians, my goodness, they were kissing more than anyone I saw the whole night. Like, love wins and defeats hate. Yeah, it's good. You know, I mean, I like the club I go to. Like, I'm not a lesbian, but and sometimes it's difficult because I have women who fancy me. But and some I don't know if they fancy me or not. Some make it clear they do. But you know, and there's gays there as well. I really love that, because it's like there's gays, lesbians. I'm asexual. Probably there's not exactly many asexuals forthcoming there. That I haven't met one person that says they're asexual yet. But I live in hope. There's got to be someone. Hopefully it's a guy that's a romantic guy, and not an aromantic guy, which would do just my luck. But no, I'm sure there's a romantic guy, asexual guy, Indian in my city somewhere. There's got to be, hasn't there? It really has. It's in this country forever with me, kissing me. Woo. But yeah, I think it's really, really important to, you know, to define your own rules in life and within the relationship. You know, there's got to be rules and boundaries to a certain extent in a relationship. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be, like you know where you stand, and with boundaries, and have respect for each other and stuff like that. But I think, you know, it's up to the individuals. You know, like sometimes you know, that the religion or the culture can get in the way if the two individuals make it or let it get in the way, right? But if it's like I could, you know, like just because I'm technically I'm not really strictly religious. I'm more spiritual than religious, but I do believe in God, and I have some, you know, I have some beliefs like that. I don't believe in the Holy Spirit. I believe in God, right? And so, but I don't go to church, and I just talk to God whenever I feel like it and want to, which is not exactly what you're supposed to do. But, you know, it's just the way I am, and I just am that. But I could be with someone who was atheist in a relationship. I could be with someone who was a different culture, like a Jew, you know, or a Buddhist, or someone who's Hindu. I could even probably be with a Muslim. Depends on, you know, because obviously I'm into foreign guys, you know, so long as it's not an extremist that's violent terrorist, obviously. Um, but you know, I've had Muslim boyfriends in the past, you know, so there's no reason why I can't be with it. It's all down to the individual of how they interpret their religion, how they are as a person, how their heart is, you know. It's like obviously mum even tries to make me feel guilty about being with him. You won't have God's blessings. Oh, just ignore that. It's really toxic. It's one of the things she says first. I don't care. Second, God does give his blessings to anyone that loves each other. Honestly, seriously, I think I can speak for God that he's happy that you've got a nice boyfriend for yourself. I don't think he'd mind me saying, I think God's a he, in my opinion. That's who I, you know, that's my version of God. You know, he's a he to me. But I don't think he's got a problem with that at all. When you love someone, you do everything it takes to be with them, despite others' opinion. Yes, you do. And that is a good guy as well, you know? I know you're not specifically a guy yourself, but you know, a good guy will do whatever it takes to be with his woman. He will, you know, even if the family doesn't like it, he will still be with her through thick and thin. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he will stick up for her as well. Not late, you know, like if she's got parents that are being nasty or insulting or rude to her, he'll stick up in a polite manner to them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, they a good guy won't, you know, like if you're being like if someone's being rude to you, they won't sit there and just like look at you or keep the peace. What I don't like in a guy is a guy who keeps the peace. That might sound weird, but it just drives me insane. A guy who keeps the peace is a passive guy. He's the guy that doesn't like to say anything that's going to upset anyone, that doesn't like to say anything, doesn't like to really say his own opinions, doesn't like to really do, you know, like put himself out there, changes to the conditions of the environment like a chameleon in a pleasing way. He wants to please everyone all the time. It's not good. I'm ready to adopt his family. They're nice and accepting and kind and caring and loving. That's really good, Naila. I'm glad you've got his family for support. My trans friend that I was talking about earlier, she has the support of her husband's, not her, sorry, not she anymore. Sorry, I knew there was a she to begin with. My trans male friend, they're still female in body, sorry. They have a loving husband, and their husband's dad looks after their kids sometimes, and their husband's dad they get on extremely well with. She can't be with her own family. I mean, she literally cannot be with them because she can't. Partly for legal reasons and partly for safety reasons, and that's all I'm saying. But yes, did I say she? They, I've got to say they, sorry. I use the wrong pronouns, I'm really sorry. Really sorry. I'm really sorry. My brain can't always get the pronouns right. I do apologise. I do too much. Most can't keep up with me. Laugh out loud. I know, Ray, you're amazing. Like a good guy, I'll give you an example why Ray is a good guy, right? Like Ray was out doing animal rescue, right? Like he does. You're a he, yes, I can call you he. Sorry, my mind takes a while to switch over. Because sometimes if I forget to call people they, then I end up calling everyone they, whatever gender they are. It's just like my brain either wants one or the other. I'm a very black and white girl, and that's how my brain works. And I think my brain like wants one or the other. It's like it can't be doing both at the same time. So like everyone's a they for like the next half an hour, or everyone's a he or a she for the next half hour. Mum, you have to be ready to be a part of his family. Me, I'm ready, Mum. Are you sure? Me in my head, yeah, because they're better than here. Me in real life, yes. of course you're ready to be part of his family. They seem really nice. Do you know what I mean? It's the problem that, do you know what I mean? It's the thing that, you know, your mum's going to get left out of your future if she carries on doing what she's doing, sadly. Do you know what I mean? It's a shame that, you know, you can't talk some sense into her, really, and say, look, you know, he's going to be part of my life. So's his family. I want you to still be in my future. But I want you to, you know, I know you've got anxiety, but please do this for me, you know? I want you to be part of my future with him. You know, I want you to come and meet his family. It'd be really, really helpful to me. I love you and I want my mum there, you know, to do that for me. You know, I don't know if there's any way you can rephrase it. I'd never leave her out of my life. That's nice. That's really nice. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, I hope there's some way that you can speak to her in a way that makes her feel like she wants to go and see him and the family, that, you know, that it would just be so wonderful to have her there by your side or something, because you really love her, and it would make, you know, you understand it's different religions, but that's just the way it is, and you still love him. And, you know, like, it shouldn't be a barrier to love. It just shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? It's not really. It's only her that sees it that way. Do you know what I mean? So, my warfare instincts won't let me break away from my mum. Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. So yeah, Ray was on. I was going to tell you a good thing about Ray as an example of a good guy. So Ray was on a rescue, like he does. I didn't know, because I didn't, you know, I presume he does this most days, because I know he does, but I didn't know where he was at that specific point in time. And I messaged him. I can't remember what I messaged him. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? I think it was yesterday. Like, we message all the time. And so yeah, he was out, and he took a picture of what he was doing, which a good guy would actually, you know, if they're away from you, they kind of usually, you know, take, you know, like, if you're in a relationship, me and Ray aren't actually in a relationship, but if you're in a relationship with someone, usually they take photographs of, like, their day and stuff like that, so they can, like, especially if you've not met them in person before, right, this long distance relationship or whatever, they will send you photographs and videos, and they will, you know, so that you can see their life is real and true and they're honest. You know, they'll be very open, honest, and kind of give you proof of that, right? But it doesn't always work like that, because I had a Moroccan guy, how long ago was it? A while ago, and he was showing me pictures and videos, and then he had stuff to hide in the end. It was very weird. But anyway, so Ray, like, was out on a rescue. I didn't know that. He was in a rescue car, and he sent me a picture of, like, part of a dog in the rescue car. I was like, I'm in the rescue car, but I'm still making time for you. And that is a good guy, right? Because a good guy will make time for you no matter what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have to do that. He's in the middle of a car with a dog on top of him. Yeah, go and see for your boyfriend. Yeah, go and see. So yeah, so, you know, a good guy will keep in contact with, and even if it's not necessarily convenient to him to message you or communicate with you. I mean, sometimes it might be impossible, right? It might be in a meeting, his boss might be stood there in front of him. He can't message you in those scenarios. Do you know what I mean? You can't be messaged 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, because he's got his own life. And you, as a person who's a good person for him, have to give him his space. Do you know what I mean? You can't be with him 24/7 and never give him any space. That's not a good. You're not being a good person then. So a good guy will give you your space and let you do your own thing. And because I need a guy who let me do my own thing. You know, I can't. As much as I love messaging and talking to a guy, I can't be online talking to him 24/7. Do you know what I mean? Because I won't get any work done, and that just stressed me out and mean I'm not living my life purpose, and I haven't got a life, basically. Do you know what I mean? So you have to, like, realize that sometimes, you know, like, for example, like, in a relationship, I might not be able to message a guy back straight away, but I'll be like, you know, I do love and care about you, but I'll, you know, I'm busy, you know, I'll message you when I'm free to message you. Do you know what I mean? Even sent a photo of sunset today. Like, I know Ray did. Like, Ray, you know, like, Ray, in terms of relationship, Ray's got a lot of good qualities for a woman. A very lot of nice qualities. You know, he's got a lot. You know, he keeps up communication, sends videos and photos of his day, saying stuff like, "I'm always here for you," which is so sweet. I have to say, very, very sweet. And I mean, Ray's my friend, but likes me more than a friend. But Ray's actually just my friend. But, you know, like, I know Ray's very attracted to me. I can just tell when I'm video chatting with him. And he's a make it happen guy. So he's like, oh, let's video chat. Like, I want to video chat with you. He doesn't mess around. You know what I mean? And I think a good guy, you know, they will take the lead. They will They will be proactive, not reactive. They won't be passive. They won't wait for months to video chat with you. If they're really keen on you, they will like, let's make it happen. Do you know what I mean? And they will set dates. It's like, I had a guy tonight. I'm not going to say who it is at the moment. It's not anyone in this chat. And I had a guy tonight who's asexual, right? And I've been talking to him on a dating site, right? And sometimes he messages me. Sometimes I don't hear from him for quite a while, right? Could be days, could be even longer, right? And I think he's interested in a potential relationship with me, right? But at the moment, he's not that guy. He's not a make it happen guy, right? Because it's like, I have to say something to him. I said to him, he said to me about something because he was interested in me being interested in another guy. And I said, yes, I do fancy that guy, but the guy doesn't talk to me, so it's not going to go anywhere. And you know, I said, I like a guy who communicates with me regularly, who messages me and who keeps in contact and who wants to see me and stuff. And he was like, because he was asking me if I'd been on a date with this guy I liked, and I'm like, no, the guy's not contacted me anymore since they, you know, I last messaged them. And I'm like, have you been on any dates? And then he was like, no, I'm still waiting. And I'm like, well, what are you waiting for? Do you know what I mean? Why don't you actually ask someone out on a date? What are you actually waiting for? I said, or are you more feminine? Because, you know, in masculine, feminine traits, a guy who's more in his feminine than his masculine will wait for the woman to ask him out. Will wait for the woman to pursue him. The woman will have to do like the role of the traditional guy, you know, pursue him, message him, arrange stuff with him. You know, we'll do all the kind of like hard work, if you know what I mean, because a guy traditionally, I guess, in terms of gender roles, has got more harder work thing, you know. It's like, it's not so hard work for them because it comes more naturally because it's what's instinctive usually in a guy who's a masculine guy. But do you know what I mean? You know, like this person tonight, they actually said to me, oh, I'd like to see you again. Because we haven't been out. He didn't ask me for a date. He said he'd like to see me again. He's seen me before at a meetup, right? And so, and he said, oh, sorry, I haven't been in touch. I got no excuses. And I'm like, well, no, you haven't got any excuses. You're being slack, basically. I said, because, you know, my friends, you know, some of them I chat to pretty much nearly every day. And so he goes, oh, I'd like to see you again, which I don't, you know, to me, that means like a date, because if he wants to see me as a friend, he would be like, oh, I'd like to see you again as a friend, but he didn't use the word friend. So anyway, he's not calling it a date. I'm not calling it a date. He didn't ask me for a date, right? He just said he'd like to come and see me. He'd like to see me again. And he's willing to, you know, he said he'd come down to my city, which is good. Because I told him in this message before that, you know, I would like a guy to come and see me. Do you know what I mean? I like a guy to do that type of thing, not me go after him, right? So anyway, he says about this, and I'm like, so when were you thinking of? Right? I shouldn't even have to ask that, but I did. And then he's like, oh, in a few weeks' time. And that was it. Do you know what I mean? He still hasn't told me when. Because I was asking when I can put it in my diary. You know, I can look on my calendar to see if I'm free. But no. You know what I mean? He's not taking any action. He's not a make it happen guy. Do you know what I mean? It's like getting like, you know, like sand out of milk or something. It's just not really happening. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's not the type of guy I want to be in a relationship with, and I already know that. Like, if he changed, but you can't change a guy, you know, you should never go in the attitude of changing a guy or thinking he will, because he is who he is. Do you know what I mean? Unless he's not into growing himself, he's not into developing himself. You know, a guy who doesn't message you very regularly is not that keen on you for a start, because they don't need you in their life. You're not that important to them. They're not making you a priority. A good guy will make you a priority. A good guy will want you in his life as much as possible. He'll want to share his thoughts, feelings, emotions with you. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, he'll want to take time out for you of his day and go out of his way. And he won't want to sit there watching 10 hours of TV and then not message you. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? He would just rather put you first. But no, this type of guy, as much as I like him a little bit, he's kind of like not going to be the guy for me. I already know that. And it's like, do I even say that to him? But he's not asking me as a date. He's asking me just to meet up again. And, you know, I've never spent a whole day with him, so it might be interesting. Well, it'll probably be interesting if nothing else, to be quite honest. And I don't mind being friends with him, but he like literally he's the type of guy that doesn't show up very often. Like he'll show up for a few, like maybe message a couple of times a week, then I won't hear from him for 4 or 5 days, and he'll message again. And I think from what he said, he's interested in me a bit romantically, because I can tell, but he's one of those type of guys that's not really taking the lead, not pursuing, not keeping in contact, not prioritizing me, not that interested in me, not going out of his way for me, not, and he doesn't really know what he wants to do with his life either. And he's not really on his life purpose. Do you know what I mean? And he's not in a self-development, self-growth mindset from what I've seen. I mean, I do know he used to say he did a lot of different courses and stuff, but he told me that in the past, and I was quite impressed with that. But since having spoke to him further, he seems to be more milling along, trying different things, not really getting very far. Do you know what I mean? So I'm reserving some judgment on him, but it's already like, he doesn't really tell me many secrets or anything like that. I don't really know that much about him. Do you know what I mean? I know a little bit more than other people probably, but it's kind of like, I'm not sure I could totally trust him. Do you know what I mean? Because he hasn't earned that trust. So it's kind of like, what I mean? It's like this type of guy at the moment wouldn't be my guy. He wouldn't be suitable for my needs. He wouldn't be giving me the time, care, and attention I deserve, and wouldn't be pursuing me, and wouldn't be prioritizing me, or actually need to be in his life. It'd be a case of like, if she's available, I'll bother to message her, and if she bothers messaging me back, fine. If she doesn't, okay. Do you know what I mean? Like for 1 month, we didn't even speak. I mean, that was partly to do with the fact that I didn't actually answer his message, because I was busy, and just I got the impression I know more about you. Yes, I do, Ray, in a very short period of time. And I've been chatting with this guy online for months, actually, quite a few months. I don't even know how long it's been now. At least 6 months, I'd say, probably. I would have thought. I don't even know how long I've been messaging him. It must be at least 4, put it that way. And I know more about Ray in a short space of time in a few weeks. It's quite funny. But yeah, so, I'm not sure I could trust this guy in a relationship. I don't know enough about him. I feel he's like got lots of secrets and stuff. I feel he tells me a bit more than he used to, but do you know what I mean? Like some guys, they can be like wounded or not open up, but you don't really want a guy like that. You want a guy who's open, honest, kind, caring. I'm putting water because I need to keep my throat hydrated. You want a guy who's like into you, really into you, and wants to speak to you, and likes, you light up their world. And also you want a guy, also a good guy, who doesn't run away from problems. Like, you don't want a guy where you're saying to him something, he's like, I don't want to hear it, or you're being insecure, or you're being oversensitive. Do you know what I mean? This is a really bad guy who says this stuff. A good guy will be worried or concerned or thoughtful about your feelings. If something's affecting you, they'll want to know about it, because they'll know as a mature adult guy that what affects you directly impacts and affects them as well, because you're having a relationship, a partnership together. A relationship's like a union of souls, and it's a partnership. And if one person's affected by something, you're gonna get affected. That means, like, if you've got a partner and one of their families in hospital or seriously ill, and they're tending to their family, and you can see they're upset and in pain, then you'd want to comfort them. You'd probably feel upset for them, even though it might not be directly your family member. You feel their pain. You'd be upset for them because you care about them, because you're sympathetic, because you're empathetic, because you feel for them, because they are important to you and you're connected to them. A good guy for you would be deeply emotionally connected to you and be able to be open and honest and share secrets with you and trust you. And they'd want to be in your life, and they'd want to work stuff out. If you're going to be in a long-term, serious, committed relationship, it's a lot of work and time, energy, and effort, and you've got to understand, that person's going to affect you. When they say, oh, don't let anything or anyone affect you in your life, you're going to get affected to a certain extent by things that your partner says or does. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to be this person who's like a man of steel all the time. You're going to feel hurt sometimes. You're going to feel upset. You're going to feel in pain. You might feel a bit needy sometimes yourself. You might be like, I haven't heard from them for 5 hours and they said they were going to message me back. What's gone on? Do you know what I mean? But a good guy will sit down and talk to you, you know, and if you say, well, I haven't heard from you for a day, that, you know, I felt like disconnected from you, you know, like, what can we do about that going forward? They'd listen to your needs and like be, oh, hey, honey, I'm really sorry you felt that way. I didn't realise, you know, like, what can we put in place to help you to not feel that way? You never hide anything. I know Ray. Ray's a very good guy. I know. Ray doesn't have, like, in a short space of time that I've known Ray, he's been very open, very honest with me, very caring, there every day for me, even though he's just a friend. He likes me more than a friend though, but he's made that clear. And that's a good thing. Is that a good guy will make it clear how he feels about you, regardless of whether it's reciprocated or not. He just will. And he's unlikely to give up a lot of the time either. But he will let you go as well if he knows that you're not right for him or he's not right for you. He will let you go because he loves you so much as well. So that's kind of a double-edged I was going to say double-edged flower. I'll say double-edged sword, but I say double-edged flower instead because it's beautiful. But yeah, so I think, you know, a good guy will have the ability. I'm in bed with two pretty girls. I know you mean actual physical furry dogs, not of the womankind. But Ray does have a date. We spoke about this in the chat the other day. He does have a date. Well done, Ray. You deserve a good woman for you. And it's someone he's got a lot in common with. And I hope it goes really well for you, because you deserve a really good woman for you, because you're a good guy, you know. And I hope that person loves and adores you when they see you and think you're wonderful. So yeah, it's really important. But yeah, a guy will be open, honest, trustworthy, kind, caring. You know, they're not that 100% of the time. They might have a bad day where they get a bit like narky with you. It's true, Ray. You have a lot of special qualities. Like, I would look for a lot of qualities that you've got in a guy, you know, in terms of personality, you know, and she's going to be a lucky girl to have you, I tell you. Very lucky woman, because she's older than me. But yeah, you know, I wish you all the best. You deserve it. You have a lot in common. I think she'll be good for you. You know, I'm glad she's got a lot in common. It's very important. I want all my asexual friends to be happy in relationships. You know, if I'm the last person to get my guy, that's fine, as long as everyone else is happy. Do you know what I mean? I want my friends to be happy and to feel loved, and the romance. Obviously, I love my friends, but the romance love that they want, the ones that are romantic, which is most of my close friends are romantic. So do you know what I mean? I want you to all have a really good person for you, because you deserve it, you know? I think it's probably going to take me quite a while to get my guy, but that's okay. I'm patient. Like, don't forget, I like younger guys, so he's probably got to do a bit of catching up. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what age he is now. Do you know what I mean? Like, he might not appear for 5 years because he might have to go through some stuff in his life before he's ready to be with me. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything happens for a reason, and sometimes the timing, you know, like, you have to be patient, you know? Like, my guy might be, I don't know, he might be in uni in another country for all I know, and then work, you know, all of a sudden get a job in the UK. He might not even be in this country yet. Do you know what I mean? Or he might be too young for a relationship right now, because I don't know how old he is right now. Do you know what I mean? I know my soulmate's out there. I can tell, I can feel it. I know he's alive. I know he exists. And he will find me. But I think there's stuff I have to do in my life first. I think I've got a lot of stuff to do in my life. It might happen very quickly, or it may happen slowly. Quicker the better, really. But do you know what I mean? Because I think it's my career. I think I've got to get that sorted out. I've really got to, you know, which I'm working on at the moment, bit by bit, because I do not want to overwhelm myself and get ill again. So, like, asexual meetup mastery course, I've done like edited about an hour's worth of footage today, which takes hours. Do you know what I mean? There's so many cuts that you've got to do in video editing. It's a lot of work, a heck of a lot of work. But I've been pleased with my progress today. Very happy with myself, so that's good. Pat on the back. But I've got loads to do, loads still to do. But I'm getting through it. It's all good. But yeah, so it's important. And also, a good guy will support you in your career as well, and your goals and life ambitions and dreams, whatever gender you are. You don't want a guy who, just wants a woman at home to cook and clean for him and expects that from a woman as well. If you're a woman, do you know what I mean? Obviously, if you're a guy, they shouldn't expect that to have like a cleaner upper. Do you know what I mean? Or a mum or a dad to them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very interesting because I went on this video the other day, which was, I think I mentioned yesterday, which was about a YouTube video about why men like older women, right? And there was a lot of women in there saying about how they feel about younger guys and older guys. And one of the women in there said, yeah, older guys, except Ray, I'm not talking about, because Ray's a bit different, which is good. But she said, like, older guys usually expect a nurse or a purse. Either you're a nurse to them, like looking after them, or they want you for your money. So and to cook, clean, they specifically said to cook, clean, wash up after them. That's what an older guy wants. And that's why a lot of older women aren't attracted to older guys as well. It's because in terms of their lifestyle, they'd rather have a younger guy who, like this woman says, who wears, like keeps himself clean and hygienic, who grooms himself well, and a lot of younger guys, they wear really nice clothes, because I said that a lot of older guys, they just wear clothes that make them look older. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that, it's a bit different in this stream, but there are quite a few older guys that do look old. I mean, they have beards, which really annoys me because I can't stand facial hair in general, although I did kiss an Indian guy. Like, Indian guys just seem to be my exception for every blooming rule I have, which is just like really weird. But I did kiss an Indian guy who did have a little mustache and a little beard, and I that was a interesting experience for me because I think I've kissed a guy with a little tash before, a foreign guy, but never a beard, and it's like, that was weird. But it was okay, actually. It was soft and gentle, and I didn't really notice it after a while. I was too busy kissing. And yeah, it didn't get in the way in the end. At one point, I could feel it because I could feel it in my lips, but it was soft, so it was all right. But I prefer a guy without facial hair, to be quite honest with you. But these guys, a lot of them, they want to have facial hair, a beard, to look older. It's like, I don't want a guy to look older. I really do want him to look much younger. So take it off. That's why I feel like saying you can't. You can't. Some guys, actually, they will shave it off for a woman. But like, I've come across guys before, and they're like, oh, well, I prefer, to leave it a bit stubbly for a few days because it'll hurt my skin. I mean, I don't know if that's true or if it's just an excuse. But a lot of them are lazy. It's like, oh, I can't be bothered. I don't want to shave. Do you know what I mean? I've even had guys saying that I only do it for a few days because I can't be bothered to do it. It just, every day, And it's like, well, I shave my legs and arms every day and I don't have to. I'm female, but, it's kind of like expected more of a guy, I guess. I know that's a bit genderist, but, but I mean, traditionally, women don't tend to shave their legs every single day, and specifically not their arms. I'm not talking about just under my arms. I'm talking about all over my arms every single day I'm in the shower. Do you know what I mean? It's not really normal for a woman to do that, but I do. So I'm thinking, if I can do that every day, I really want a guy to be able to do that every day, not say every 3 days I'm going to do it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, obviously, if there are exceptions to the rule, you might have a guy who's got really sensitive skin. I appreciate that. Do you know what I mean? But some of them just told me they can't be bothered, but I'm not interested in a guy. But I think, like a guy as well, a good guy will make some adjustments in his life for you to be in it and be more comfortable in it. Do you know what I mean? That might be like a bad habit he's got that he stops doing, to be with you. Not because you tell him he's got to, but because he decides, well, it's not, my woman doesn't like that, and I see that it's not great for me to do that anyway. There's no benefit to me keeping that. Maybe it's going to be hard for me to break that habit because I've been doing it for such a long time, but it's just something I need to do as a responsible adult in a relationship who cares about my partner. Do you know what I mean? So I think a good guy will make some adjustments for their partner. They will rearrange their life a little bit more around their partner. They'll fit their partner into their life. They'll already be making plans and space for their partner. You know what I mean? A guy who's so wrapped up in his own life and own world and his work all the time that doesn't have time for you is not a good guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know people that are very, very busy, yet they still keep in contact with me. Like my best friend Sam, for example, he's in the stream. They're really busy, you know, they're working hours on Space Era, they're seeing family and stuff, do you know what I mean? And they've got a lot of things going on in their life, do you know what I mean? And so it's when I get a message from them, it's like I know that they've taken the time and bothered to do that when they could be doing other things, you know. It's like obviously with Ray's, you know, like got his hands full with loads of dogs all the time, and you know, Ray's got kids and other stuff going on in his life. But you know, when he takes time out to bother to message me, I really appreciate that. And obviously being on this stream, you know, this stream's taken like an hour of your life up. And it's incredible. I cannot thank you enough, because do you know what I mean? You don't have to spend an hour of your life or sometimes 2 hours with me. You know, you've got a million and one other things to do. And I just feel so loved as a person without even being in a relationship when I'm on these streams. I think perhaps that's why I love it. Thank you. I think that's perhaps why I love doing these streams so much as well, because I feel like, wow, these people are giving up like 1 or 2 hours of their time, the ones that are in the chat, to just, for especially the ones that are in, you know, you guys that are in and whatever gender, obviously. When I say guys, I'm just using guys as a term for any gender, because I do that sometimes, like guys including women. But to be gender specific, any gender, you know, I just feel love from you by even being here and spending time with me. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to be here at such an o'clock hour. Do you know what I mean? When you've got a life of your own and other priorities and different things going on. But when you're hearing this chat, I just feel like, wow, I feel overwhelmed by friendship, love, and like these people really care about me. Do you know what I mean? They want me in their life. Do you know what I mean? It's a very big thing for me, especially because I never had that. And recently, I let a friend go, not completely. I'm still will always support you. Your friendship is worth the time. Oh, Sam, that's so sweet. I had to send you a friendship kiss for that. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, isn't that one of the most loveliest friend thing to say? Will always support you. Your friendship is worth the time. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm welling up. Oh, that's really happy. It's made me so happy. That's such a lovely friendship thing to say. I don't think anyone's ever said that to me before. Oh, that's really sweet. I'm really happy. Thank you so much. That's really nice, because I know you're really busy. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope he's got enough time to wake. Sorry. I'm really sorry. 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 I hope they've got enough time, you know, to work on Space Era, because I know how important it is to you, and I don't want you to miss out doing that, because I know it's utmost important to you. So I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I hope they're getting their time in. You know, like when I'm messaging, I think, I hope I'm not messaging too much, because I want to make sure you get your Space Era time and everything else you have to do, because I know you're a busy person. It's very important to you, and it's important to me because it's important to you. Do you know what I mean? So, but I really appreciate that. It's so sweet. I don't know what to say now. I'm too busy being loved up with friends to even think about the live stream topic anymore. Well, in the live stream topic, in the live stream chat, there are examples of good people. Guys, girls, non-binary people. Do you know what I mean? A good person. So it's really, really important that you pay attention to people in the live stream chat as well. Because it's really good examples of, you know, like I think it's nice when you're paid compliments, you know, and I think if you're in a relationship, the person will pay you compliments, whether that's your looks or your personality or the way you make them feel, the way, you know, like they'll give you feedback. A good person to be in a relationship with, they'll give you feedback. They might not always give you positive, but they'll do some positive and some negative. Hopefully they'll give you more positive, ideally. Do you know what I mean? They'll like say, I really love all this stuff about you. They might be saying, well, when you do this, it makes me feel a little bit like this, you know, and so how are we going to deal with that? Because I'd like to be feeling better about it, or something like this. They'd be able to talk openly and honestly and be able to like iron out the creases, if you know what I mean, as best as possible. But I think they give you, you know, they would be giving you positive feedback. You don't want to be in a relationship where this a person's being negative about you, and you don't want to be with anyone who's putting you down or belittling you. You know, a loving partner should be making you feel special, making you feel wanted, needed, an integral part of their life, making you feel like not like you're in the way or a burden, but like you genuinely make their life happier by being in it, and they want to hear from you, and they want to talk to you, and they want to make sure you're okay, and they're happy that they're happier that you're including them in your life as well in the same way, because obviously this works both ways. It's not just the other person. You've got, for you to be a good person, you should be like this yourself to be in a relationship with. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to make sure you look for these qualities in someone else and make sure you are them. You've got to be like, if you want a serious committed relationship, then when you're in a serious committed relationship, you be serious and committed. Do you know what I mean? Not someone who's laid back and so horizontal that they just like, oh well, whatever, I don't care whether you speak to me or not. Do you know what I mean? You don't want someone like that. So what I mean? But you have to decide obviously what type of relationship you want. Like, I mean, at the moment, I am admittedly, if I'm going clubbing, I have got the attitude at the moment. It's a conscious decision I've made that I will kiss some guys I'm not in a relationship with if the situation arises that I feel that I want to do that, right? Which is a big difference for me. I'm not usually into that, but I'm experimenting at the moment, and I think it's good because obviously I kind of experiment for you guys in a way so you can be in the safety and comfort of your own home. And I think Sandra's doing all the hard work for me, finding out what works and what doesn't work, so she can report back to me. Do you know what I mean? So, because I'm quite a strong person like that, so I can do that anyway. But, I've decided to do something different because I think I need personally to have a bit of experience of I need more confidence is good, especially with younger guys, but I also need to observe younger guys. I need to observe them for what they are, not the fantasy I want them to be. Do you know what I mean? I need to see them in their own environments, in young, like, I'm not saying every guy's gonna be like this, because obviously in that type of environment a lot of guys are either with partners or they're after sex, which is not the type of guy I want. So really, partly being there is not going to do me any great deals of favors, like necessarily getting the ideal relationship. But it's important for me to be around young guys more, because obviously I want a younger guy. It's important for me to get to know and understand them on their level even more. It's important for me to understand and recognize when a guy is an emotionally unavailable guy. I can observe it while I'm there. I can observe guys' behavior, how they are with different women, what type of behavior is a good guy, what type of behavior is a bad guy. And like some guys I can't touch with the barge pole. It's like, get away from me, I'm not interested. It depends on the age, and like, I can't at the moment, I can only be close to Indian guys. It's like, even though there's other foreign guys there, I can't really be that close to anyone but an Indian guy, really. It's just like, but it's good because the more Indian guys I come across, the better it is, because it means there's more abundance of them. Do you see what I mean? Because obviously being asexual, liking a specific ethnicity most, is kind of a really difficult thing sometimes, because I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? It kind of, you feel like it narrows down your choice, but you can't think like that. If you think about being narrowing down choices in terms of there's only a few Indian guys that might be interested in me, that's a bad mindset, right? It's not an abundance mindset. It means it's scarcity. It means you end up getting a relationship with the wrong person because you'll think, I can't get anyone else. So the more guys I see there that are Indian, the more that I come across, the more that are interested in me in whatever way, the more I know there's guys out there, and especially in my city, which is so important for me. Because, I do see other people, like women, in relationships with Indian guys in my city. I'm thinking, why can't I get that? Do you know what I mean? So it's not like it's impossible, but at the moment, I want to experiment with me kissing outside a relationship. I want to be like a little bit, I am, in general, I'm a committed person, but, I'm not in a relationship at the moment. So I think it's better for me to be non-committal until a guy commits to me and actually asks me to be his girlfriend and in a proper relationship, and I agree to it and want that. Do you know what I mean? So I've never been like this in the past, but I think I need to have this experience. I think I need to experiment with myself a bit, like in a very safe way, not in a careless way, because that's not good. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's very important for me to experience, like, having some physicality, but letting go of that person, not getting too attached to the person, or ideally being able to cut off attachment for them, not being attached to them. Having the ability to walk away and saying, that's fine, that's it, that's all it was. Because I don't want to get with a person in the future and keep getting hurt if they turn out to be the wrong person. Do you know what I mean? Especially because I've got this thing, like, if I'm physical with someone at all, it tends to be very difficult for me to be able to leave them or not be with them anymore. I kind of feel that once you past that point of doing physical stuff, that you kind of should be with them, and that's kind of a wrong thing to think. But it's not wrong in the sense I want a serious committed relationship. I don't like casual physical encounters in general, but I'm having to change my mindset a bit on that, thinking, right, Sandra, you're single, you might be single for another 5-10 years, could be even more, could be forever, and you do like some physicality and kissing, so why deny yourself that pleasure, if you know what I mean, that thing I really want, just because I'm not in a relationship at the moment? And also, it should stop me getting in relationships for the sake of the fact that that's what I really want, because it's not good to go into any relationship where you're feeling needy at all in any way. Like, so the fact is, I feel like I need to kiss sometimes. I mean, it's so strong sometimes. Like, I got it tonight, it was really bad. Like, I'm trying to do my work, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I really want to kiss. That's how bad it is for me. I'm like a hyper kisser. I like have kissing needs, and I feel kissing sick. Like, I really need to kiss. And it's like, but you can't, you just need to do work, and just like, oh my goodness me, like, it's just very difficult sometimes. And so being asexual, like, that opportunity is probably not just going to come around the corner any minute. But I'm not saying it isn't, but it's unlikely to do that very often, right? Only to happen once for the right guy. But I think it's important that I give myself that an allowance, so I don't feel obliged to be in a relationship at all with a guy. That I don't have any need to be in a relationship with a guy, because I can get that outside a relationship. So there's no need for me to be with any guy. Do you see what I mean? It means I feel it makes me a less needy person in that way. It's like, I don't, like, I still need that, but it's like, because I'm getting those needs met, it's like I'm not going to get into a relationship with a guy just because he's the first guy that's come along that I've been able to kiss with, and I haven't had kissing for a long time because I really need the kissing. Do you see what I'm saying? So I just think it's important sometimes to take yourself out of the equation of what you usually are, and to try and be someone different for a while, and put a hat on and see if it works, because I think, like, you have to, like, realize that certain things happen in your life that take you on new paths or new directions. And I'm just thinking, right, Sandra, like, you've done the opposite for years. You've really wanted to be in a serious committed relationship, which you still do, right? But if you go to this club, most of the guys aren't looking for a serious committed relationship. They're the ones that are looking for it are already in them, usually. Something you can't really, like, I'm not saying you can't get it. I still am hopeful that I will find the right guy there, right? But in that environment, it's not the best environment to do that in, right? So I'm just thinking, like, experiment. You've got this opportunity in front of you. You need to, if you really want to be with a younger foreign guy, you've got to understand them better from a more logical perspective, not from this, I really want to be with you, I'm emotionally attached to you. I've got, while I'm in the club, I can observe guys' behavior, different types of guys' behavior. I can observe the way they are with other women. I can observe when they look bored. I can observe what they like, what they don't like. I can observe when they're non-committal with their partner. I can observe when they're really just sexual. There's a lot of stuff I can learn by having these type of experiences. And I just think sometimes you need to do that in life. I think for a while I need to be in this, like, phase where I'm able to kiss outside a relationship and be non-committal myself, because until the right guy comes along to commit to me and I have the satisfying relationship that I want, there's no point. Do you know what I mean? I just don't, I'm actually, like, quite happy in my life in every other way. I can look after myself really well. I do my writing, I do lots of stuff I enjoy. I'm working my way through my projects that I've got to finish before the new year. There's a lot of stuff to do, and it's kind of like, I just feel that I've got so much other stuff going on, but why should I keep craving the kissing and not being able to get it? Do you know what I mean? Because it distracts me. And I think rather distract it, satisfy that need if you really want to, and if it crops up at the right time with the right person in that moment. Do you know what I mean? And so, I can learn a lot from this. I think, I want to learn the art of detachment. I want to master more the art of detachment. I don't know if it's exactly the right way to go about it, but I do think it is to a certain extent. It's like putting yourself in situations where I'm being more logical, right? I'm being logical that this guy, he just wants to snog me for the night, probably doesn't ever want to see me again. Or maybe if he sees me again, he'll like to see me again, spending time with me again, but he's not emotionally attached to me. He's not emotionally available for me. He's not going to be my guy, right? And so I'm thinking, like, it's just good to be able to actually be with a guy and not be attached to him, because I want that for myself. I want to be in a position where I'm no longer this person that gets so attached so easily that I end up being really, really heartbroken very, very quickly. I'm not saying I'm not going to be that person, but I'm saying I prefer it if I wasn't that person. I don't want to become a heartless so either. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to change completely the opposite way. But I mean, if I don't, if I don't need to be committed to anyone and I can carry on being in a wonderful life that I'm already in by myself, then maybe that's the life for me for the time being. Do you know what I mean? Because I do love my career. I do love being single a lot of the time, like I make myself so happy. Like I've never been happier at the moment being out of a relationship than I have been in it. It's probably because I haven't had a good relationship yet to be in with. But I've got really good friends who value me and I feel loved by. I've got a wonderful, beautiful home here. I'm working on exciting things. Do you know what I mean? Like today, I know we're going off topic a bit, but today I was talking to a guy that's dealing with renewing my business insurance, because I do, unlike a lot of people, I do get business insurance every year. So I'm covered for a lot of stuff I do, legally. I've got backup there, and this guy I was talking to, because I'm renewing my policy and they're putting extra things in that I'm covered for, such as my books, for example. And so I had my books covered in the past, but it wasn't as much detail as it is now, right? So this guy I spoke to on the phone today, and he was just talking to me like it was like he didn't really want me to stop talking to him. I was talking to him for 40 something minutes, but it was like he would have stayed listening to me, which I don't know if that's because he just liked the fact that I was talkative or what. But I said to him, he told me, he said, we don't have people like you coming to us for their insurance. People that are in business don't like the work they do. Nearly everyone that comes to us, it's like, can't wait for it to be over. They do the business, leave the job, go and do their own thing outside of their work, and that's it. They leave their work behind. He said, but you basically are your work. You love it so much. So exactly. Because obviously the books, I was going on and on about the Asexual Guide to Sex book, to be quite honest with you, and the Asexual Perspectives one before that, because I had to talk to them, because they wanted more specific details, like what's your books, what's your topic, what is your book, and so I had to go into all about asexuality to business insurance people, which has been very interesting. I have to say it's been a very interesting experience, and I guess it's quite relevant because I'm talking about asexuality on this channel. So yes, it's been a very interesting experience. Like, well, what are your books about? What are they called? What's the topics? And they particularly wanted to know about the ins and outs of this Asexual Guide to Sex book I'm currently working on. Well, I'm not currently specifically right this minute writing stuff for it, but I have been. It's ongoing because I'm taking a bit of time out to finish my asexual meter mastery course at the moment, and I've got to get back to that. But it's an ongoing thing which I will have out next year for definite. It's going to be out. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And I said to him, you can tell, can't you, when I talk about this book, how exciting I am. He said, yeah, I'm not used to talking to people like you, actually enthusiastic and enjoys your work. They just want to finish their work and can't wait to get away from it. They work to eat and work to live, not live to work. Do you know what I mean? And he said, you're really different, and literally the phone call was over 40 minutes long, and I said, you probably haven't heard someone talk so much to you. And he said, no, probably not. He said, but you're so enthusiastic. You know what I mean? He's not used to that. And I said, well, I could sit here talking to you for another 4 hours. So I do live stream. It ended up being 1 or 2 hours, and I can just talk to you for ages. But I think you've got, to get, because he works on behalf of the underwriters, the insurances. So he's a guy that gets me the best insurance deal, basically. And so, with a company that'll match my needs most closely. So, it was a very, very interesting talk, because I just couldn't stop talking. I mean, literally, I honestly believe that my Asexual Guide to Sex book will probably be the best book I've ever written when I write that one. I love this book. Don't get me wrong. This is an amazing book. I absolutely love this book. It will always be my pride and joy because it's the first asexual book I ever wrote. But Asexual Guide to Sex, I just cannot tell you how much of a different book it is to anything on the market. There's no books on the market about sex that don't sensationalize it in some way, that don't rev it up, that don't big it up all the time. There's no book that I know of that actually tells you the bad and the ugly bits about sex as well, and that makes you make a really informed choice and decision about it. Do you know what I mean? To me, this book is just exceptionally amazing. I just cannot. I know I'm writing it. I know it's my own book, but the people that have taken part in the book, I mean, they're incredible people to be shared. I mean, this book is intimate, right? This book is intimate, but the Asexual Guide to Sex was the most intimate book I'll have ever worked with people on. And you know, even one of the interviewees whose story is actually finished now, their particular story, they're like, when I was reading it back, I didn't even think about it being me. It was like an outsider reading it about myself. And that is kind of the experience you have. Like when I'm reading people's stories, you know, it's like I'm immersed in their head and I'm experiencing what they're experiencing. I'm feeling everything they're feeling. I can't tell you how much this book means to me. I know it's very ironic because I'm an asexual, personally sex repulsed these days, and I don't want sex ever again. But I have had sex in the past, and it's just one of the most informative, insightful books I think that'll ever exist about sex. I can't see anyone doing any better book than this that's done in such a down to earth, informative, educational style. That's not something that's just trying to get everyone to have sex. Do you know what I mean? It's a practical book that helps you make a decision where it's right for you to even try that out. And I just think that's so refreshing. I just don't know anything like it, because asexuals, they don't need sex to be sensationalized. They don't need it to be fluffed up and glorified and everything's wonderful and hunky-dory. They need to know the damn truth. Like, what am I letting myself in for? If I'm an asexual who's not really into having sex, if I'm going to have a go, what do I need to do? You know, what do I need to, mindset do I need to have? What do I need to do with my hands? What do I need to do with my body parts? We know, like, what do I need to think? How do I need to prepare myself mentally? All these type of questions are answered in this book. Do you know what I mean? It's I wish I'd had this book when I was 16 and got asked to have sex by my boyfriend for the first time. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, and in terms of, like, you know, boundaries and assertiveness, there's stuff in there about that. I didn't even understand boundaries and assertiveness till like the last couple of years, probably. I didn't get it really because I was never taught about that, you know? So I, you know, even the word boundary, I didn't really understand the meaning of it, you know? And I think that's really important, because some adults, you know, if we've gone through our whole lives not being taught these things, we don't know them as adults. We're expected to, but we don't. And to actually confess we don't know them is very hard, you know? It's like you don't really want to admit that, you know? You're supposed to be an adult. You're supposed to be teaching other people stuff. And I just cannot tell you how the book I feel so good about. And it's kind of weird, isn't it? Because it's very ironic and juxtaposition, but I can't tell you how happy I am for the book. I just can't wait for it to come out. I'm very excited about it. I just think it's going to be the best book on sex ever written. And it's just so amazing, because I know that it's heartfelt, it's real, it's gritty, it's true. It's not based on some bullshit, excuse me, sensualization. And, you know, like saying this, you know, expect everything to go right and it to be the perfect sex. You know, it's got some awkward things in there that happen, that go on, you know, and awkward moments and things, you know, like, it's okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's born with pops out the womb having sex skills, to believe it or not. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what we're expected to do, but no one actually has these skills. Like, no one has like relationship and love skills necessarily, or you know, most things in life have to actually be learned. And unfortunately, we're conditioned from a very young age to think a certain way and be a certain way. It's like, you know, the guys that have been conditioned to believe that guys do this, that, and the other, and they're always in their masculine. That's not actually that's not a good guy. You don't want a guy like that. You want a guy who has the wisdom and knowledge and insight to know that he should have some feminine qualities too. You know, the best type of relationship is when a guy's got some feminine qualities and a woman's got some masculine qualities, so they can meet in the middle. Otherwise, you've got to have a totally masculine man and a totally feminine woman, really. Otherwise, it's, you know what I mean? It's kind of not going to work. Or you've got to have a really masculine woman and a really feminine guy. Do you know what I mean? So, otherwise, just like a lot of the time, it's not gonna. If you've got like a masculine man and a woman is really, really masculine, a lot of the time the masculine man won't be attracted to the masculine woman. If he's attracted to feminine and women, obviously he's attracted to blokes, then it'll be fine. A lot of the time, you know, it'll have some of the quality. I mean, obviously he's attracted to aesthetics of blokes and the person looks like a woman, still it's not going to work either. But you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, really you want to be having a guy that understands that you need some feminine traits, you know, and a woman who understands that she does need some masculine traits. Sometimes it's good for a woman to have some masculine traits. She gets work done then, you know, she can get her stuff done, you know. And also, you know, like in business negotiations, and also like even in I'm learning more as you know about relationships, you know. And it was something very interesting coach, and it's like, oh, the woman can be the leadership in the relationship to do with a guy opening up his feelings, because some guys, they're not used to opening up their feelings. They haven't been taught that skill and how to do that. It's not natural to them. Doesn't mean to say they don't want to do it or can't do it in the future, but they haven't really learnt that thing. So sometimes if you've got an unemotional available guy, you know, but it's someone you've been in a relationship with, or you were in a relationship with, or well, particularly if you're already in a relationship with them, you know, rather than just leave them because they're unemotional and not available, you can help them by bringing the conversation up, saying, I feel like, you know, like you're not really emotionally connected with me. You're not, you know, I feel like I'm not emotionally connected to you. You kind of like not got to blame them. You see, like, I feel there's a disconnection emotionally between us. That would be a better way of phrasing it. And, you know, and try and lead the way with showing a guy how to emotionally connect with his feelings and stuff like that. So it was very interesting, refreshing to hear the dating coach saying that a woman can lead, because a leadership role is kind of a masculine trait, a leading role. But this guy who's a dating coach for women predominantly was saying, you know, the woman can be the leader in the relationship in that time. They can take kind of ownership of trying to help the guy, but obviously you can't directly change a guy. And if a guy, you know, if you try and help a guy to get in touch with his feelings and open up, and he's not doing that, then you probably have to say goodbye to him, because he's not going to be the right guy for you. Do you know what I mean? But he was specifically reaching out to women who are already in relationships that what seems to be an emotionally unavailable guy, to try and get him in touch with his feelings, because some guys just haven't been taught that. They don't know how to do it. And so some might still be capable of doing it, just they've never been told that or spoken to about that. So it's really important, you know. I think a good guy will listen and adapt to a certain extent, and if they have the underlying qualities that, you know, will bring out the best in them and the best in you, I think, you know, a good guy will recognize that eventually, you know, and hopefully not too late, you know, and will do what he can to make the relationship work, and realize that he's got to develop and grow himself as well. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, like, he's gonna have to be more open with his feelings, because if he isn't, how the heck can you emotionally connect? I mean, I have to say, in my past, you know, I have been able to emotionally connect with guys, but not like I can with asexual guys. Asexual guys, you know, even my friends, I can emotionally connect with them. It's completely different. With heterosexual guys in the past, it's been a lot more superficial, I'd say. They haven't got a lot of that deep connection. The only guy really I felt that with it was when I was friends with him, and then when I got into a relationship with him, he changed and didn't really tell me much about his secrets. He used to get really defensive with me, like, why do you want to know that? And it was horrible. And that's what is not good, to be with a guy who changes, you know, who's hot and cold, or they're one thing 1 minute, and then when they've got you in a relationship, they change. You know, if a guy changes dramatically when you get into a relationship with them, then, you know, obviously you have discussions and stuff about how you feel, but if they're having toxic behavior, you have to leave them. You know, if they're getting defensive, they shouldn't be defensive. You know, if you ask them how your day's going, you know, like if they went to a certain shop, how was the shopping, they shouldn't be defensive about that. They should be like, oh yeah, I got a new jacket or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whether they want to tell you. So it should be like, they just, you know, they're asking because they care about you, not because they want to know your ins and outs of every 5 seconds, because they're controlling. Because obviously you don't want someone who's asking you every 5 seconds, like, what you doing, what you doing, what you doing, what you doing. Try, you want someone who will leave you alone for some time, do you know what I mean, and won't keep messaging you every 5 minutes when you've not replied because you're busy. Do you know what I mean? Those guys are the ones that are the needy guys, the ones that like message you, go, hi, hi, hi. Do you know what I mean? You get quite a lot of heterosexual guys in the dating scene that do that sometimes. Like, I got this guy, oh my god, he just kept, I haven't even said I don't want to hear from you yet, but I will do. And he just, like, 3 of the same messages. Where was it? It's like one of those out of the sexual groups again. I don't even know if I've got it still. I don't even know if I can see it on my phone. I might not be able to see it. I don't think I can see other messages on my phone. But he was like, writing something out, and it's like repetitive about being a good kisser, and I'm like, why do I need to know this like 3 times in a row? I've seen your but I'm not telling him I've seen his message. Do you know what I mean? I'll just delete. I don't think I can find it on my phone, so my phone's like really strange like that. It doesn't usually show everything. My iPad shows some of them, but usually it's my Mac that shows it, and I don't think I've got it showing up on here. But it was just like really crazy. It was the same message like repeated like 3 times. And I'm like, why do I even need to see that? Do you know what I mean? And it was someone in another country, and he was just like, oh, hi, I'm looking for a relationship. I'm a really good. Oh, yeah. I joined a disabled dating group because I thought, well, I've got fibro, which is a disability, and maybe there'll be some guy in there that can't actually have sex. You know what I mean? That lives in the UK, happens to be Indian, would be nice. And but not so disabled that I can't actually kiss him, or he's, or he's got disabilities that mean he can't be in a relationship, because some people do have that, And I joined this disability group, and he's like, oh, hi, I'm looking for a relationship, but I'm not disabled. And I thought, what the heck are you doing a disabled group then? He's not in the UK either. And he's going, oh, I'm a really good kisser. I'm a really good kisser. And then he repeated like 3 times, I mean, that's just like, guys that are like, like where you might get high, and like you might get a guy going, who doesn't know you, like, what you doing, what you up to, what you doing now, what you up to, blah, blah, blah. And that they're just doing it out of a sense of desperation and control, not because they're really interested, because they didn't even give you a chance to reply. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're just stabbing at you. Do you know what I mean? Not literally, but they're like stabbing their words at you, going, hi, and they're repeating the same thing over and over again without paying any attention to you. Do you know what I mean? Or giving you a chance to reply. So that's not a good guy either. But there are many good guys out there in the world. I really believe that. A good guy will want a serious, committed relationship with you. They'll be willing to put the time, energy, and effort into you. They will be willing and able and wanting to make sure that people know that they're in a relationship with you. They'll put on their status they're in a relationship. They will, they will tell people about you, that they're in a relationship with you. They won't want to keep you secret. They'll be proud to be with you in a relationship. They'll respect your boundaries, your needs. They'll be willing to negotiate things with you. They'll be able to listen to you, provide feedback for you. They'll help you to become a better person, and you'll help them to become a better person. Obviously, they'll want to grow as a person individually, and they'll want to grow together with you as a unit, and they'll want you in their life on a daily basis, not because you tell them to, or because they feel obliged to, because they genuinely want to hear from you, because they care about you so much. They care about your well-being, they care about your health, they care about what you're up to, they care about that you're alive and they're alive, and they want to know more about your daily life, because it just makes them feel good. They feel like they're a part of you and who you are. Do you know what I mean? And that you're just because your partner should be your best friend as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's very important that your partner is going to be a best friend to you. You might have other best friends as well, because obviously I always have my best friend Sam, but they should be a best friend to you as well, because true love and a good relationship and a good guy will want to be your best friend, your soulmate in that relationship as well, because the deep emotional connection will be there, and shared hobbies and interests. If a guy's got absolutely nothing in common, it doesn't make him a bad guy. It just means that he's not going to be a good guy for you to be in a relationship with, basically. So anyway, I think I've gone through everything that I can think of. There's probably quite a few other things, signs of a good guy as well. Like obviously the opposite of narcissistic traits. You don't want someone who's got narcissistic traits. So you want someone who's sympathetic. I mentioned that earlier. Empathetic, caring, listens to you, willing to work things through with you, and also willing to stand his ground and not just say things to please you all the time, because that's not being honest and authentic with himself. So sometimes he'll have to have the more harder conversations with you, the things you might not want to hear exactly. But a good guy will do that. They won't like be intimidated by that. Do you know what I mean? And tell you half truths, or push the truth down because of your feelings, because really they're not being their true authentic self. They're not being completely honest with you. If they're not being honest with you, then that's not a good guy. So a good guy will be able to have those open, honest conversations with you, and will literally make it known to other women or guys, if they're into guys, that they are with you. There's no doubt about it. They'll talk about you even when they're not with you. They'll be like, my wife or my partner does this, that, and the other. Hello, hi. There was so much important information here, in my opinion. Thank you a lot. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm just pretty much wrapped up now. So thank you for listening. And so I really appreciate that. I hope you, if you missed it, you go back through some of this video because there is a lot of important information in it. I agree. And thank you all for watching. I'm going to sign off tonight. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already down below this video and hit that great big bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. I want to say thanks very much to everyone who's been watching. I want to give lots of love to Ray, to Sam, to Lowe, and to Naylor, who was here earlier, and Heather, who was here earlier as well. I really, really love you all and appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've got any comments, queries, or questions in the meantime about this video or any of the content, or you want me to produce another video that I haven't done yet on a similar topic or something relevant from this video that you want me to go more in depth about, just leave it in the comments below and I'll endeavour to do that. Obviously, there's a lot of content on this channel, so do go through my videos if you've not seen a lot of the other ones. Do, you know, search through my specific videos on my channel. I'm not talking about searching the whole of YouTube. You can go to my specific channel, go to videos and click the search button on my actual videos. Oh, bye Lo, take care. Oh, thanks very much, Sam, great video. Bye, thank you. Bye Ray, bye Sam, bye Lo, bye Nayla, bye her, bye everyone. Embrace your quirky and each other. See you on the next live stream. Love you to bits. Bye.